Welcome to part two of how I prepped for this transition into being a father. And let's dive into the second part by looking at what I've read. So parenting doesn't come with a instruction manual, no, but these days there's plenty of books out there, and two books that I have read that I thought were pretty incredible were the Montessori Baby and the Month by Month Baby book. And I want to talk about how what I've learned applies to my experience as a teacher here, but also, into parenting as well. So if you're interested in those books, they're going to be linked below. And let's get right into it. So I know first up, The Montessori Baby by Simone Davies and Junifa Uzodike. I don't know how to pronounce that. This book is all about applying the Montessori principles to parenting, and I was kind of surprised at how much it connected to my work as a teacher. So like a lot of the methods that they talked about, I kind of already knew. And what this Montessori method emphasizes is the fostering of independence and curiosity through like creating choices within someone's environment. And this sometimes, like I said, it goes into teaching in Japan. Like, for example, the idea of creating kind of a yes space, like a space where someone could really just do what they want to do. And for a baby, this means an area where everything is safe, and they can just explore it by themselves. And it reminded me how, you kind of set up your classroom to encourage students to discover English naturally, as opposed to me hovering above them and trying to make them do what I want them to do. So giving a baby or a student the freedom within a space to do what they want to do builds confidence, and that kind of principle I've seen work wonders in the classroom. So I'm thinking that's going to work pretty well as a parent. The book also emphasizes observation. It's about stepping back and kind of watching what your baby or student needs, rather than constantly directing them to do something. You need to kind of step back and watch. And then as a teacher, I've learned that like being observant helps me to know what students actually need as opposed to what I want for them. Every student has a unique needs, and I imagine this principle applies pretty much to all kids that you're raising. All right, so that's book one. Let's go into book two. And book two is the Month by Month Baby book. And the Month by Month Baby book is by Marianne Edelman Borden. And this had like a lot of great practical advice that I probably won't really need right off the bat, but it's literally month by month. And it talks about all the development that a baby has every month and gives you kind of a realistic tip, or it gives you realistic tips on what to expect and how to adapt. Something that feels very familiar, again, from my teaching experience. For example, the section on month one talks about recognizing your baby's sleep cues, and it explains that an overtired baby actually struggles to fall asleep. And it offers simple strategies to help them settle down. And this reminds me of like, how you can see like when a student is tired and overwhelmed, if you can't really identify that while you're teaching, then everything that you're teaching them, they're just going to fly right out the window. So you kind of need to be able to identify when somebody's receptive to learning, when someone's tired and overwhelmed, and then adjusting your approach to meet them where they are. I know that seems like kind of a stretch, seeing something from a baby book and applying that in the classroom, but it actually is really important. And then what I really appreciated from the book was that it addressed parental confidence. There's a really great section about how every baby develops at their own pace. So even though this is a month by month book, don't expect that your baby's going to follow this roadmap like Google Maps. You're going to have to adjust to the pace of your baby. And this hit home for me as a teacher because every student progresses differently. And even though I want every student to get those mile markers, when I get to those mile markers, that's just not going to happen. Sometimes kids are going to hit that I understand moment 2 weeks later, and then everything is going to fall like dominoes into place. And then sometimes it takes a student a year later, and then they finally get it. Some students don't get it when they're in junior high school, and when they finally get to high school, it's like, oh, now I get what Tai Sensei was saying. So same thing with kind of, babies. You're going to need to be patient, and reading that and and seeing that in my daily life as a teacher is going to make that a little bit easier for me as a parent. Whereas if I didn't have that experience as a teacher, I think that maybe I would probably be worried all the time that, oh my God, my baby's not doing this at the same time that everyone else's baby is. Oh God, what's wrong with her? It'll be fine. I'll be all right. So, reading these books has reminded me that there is a lot of overlap between my future job, which about a week away, I guess, from being and my current job of being a teacher. And whether it's creating a safe environment or observing the individual needs of the child or understanding patients, like these ideas can be applied interchangeably in both worlds. And I'm excited to take what I've learned from the classroom and apply it to being the best damn dad I could possibly be. Again, if you're interested in any of these books, they're linked below, and look forward to see you in part 3, where we're going to do something fun like opening presents.